What if you could do more than just add years to your life? What if you could add life to your years? That's where we're digging into today, a science-backed protocol for doing exactly that. We're going to break down the incredible work of Dr. Michael Greger, who's translated decades of research into a powerful game plan against the diseases we fear most. So, let's get right into it.
And for Dr. Greger, this whole journey, well, it didn't start in some fancy lab. It started with a family crisis. He was just a kid when he watched his own grandmother get sent home from the hospital in a wheelchair at age 65. The doctors said she had end-stage heart disease, that there was nothing more they could do. But she didn't die. She completely turned things around. And it wasn't some miracle. It was a specific, powerful intervention. And seeing that firsthand, that set the course for his entire life's work.
So let me ask you, what do you think is the single biggest threat to our health? According to the massive Global Burden of Disease study, the #1 cause of both death and disability in the United States, it's not smoking. It's not even high blood pressure. It's our diet. It's the food on our plates.
And that leads us to a really stark diagnosis. Not for an individual, but for our whole society. The top diseases that are killing us are, for the most part, preventable. They aren't some inevitable part of getting older, but a direct result of our lifestyle.
You see this list every year from the CDC, right? Our top killers? Heart disease, cancer, stroke, diabetes. The names are all too familiar, and frankly, they're frightening. Dr. Greger's work systematically breaks down each one of these, and he finds a powerful common thread linking almost all of them, and that thread is our diet.
Okay, so this is the absolute core of the issue. The vast majority of these premature deaths are preventable. It's not about being dealt a bad hand with your genes or just having bad luck. It's about what we're putting into our bodies day in and day out. Our modern diet has become the primary engine driving this whole epidemic of chronic disease. But look, if the diagnosis is clear, the prescription can be clear too. And I want to be really specific here. This is not another fad diet. It's a scientifically validated approach that has the power to not just prevent, but in many cases actually reverse our most deadly diseases.
The prescription is a whole food plant-based diet. The principle is actually incredibly simple. It's all about eating real food that grows out of the ground, fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and legumes in their most unprocessed state. The whole strategy is to flood your body with as much nutrition as possible while minimizing the harmful stuff.
Let's just look at the clinical evidence for a second, especially for our #1 killer, heart disease. The data here is, well, it's pretty staggering. Studies have shown that some popular low-carb diets can actually harm artery function, but a whole food, plant-based diet has a completely different effect.
I mean, that is just a profound statement, and it's one that's backed by decades of solid research. Just stop and think about that for a second. If this dietary protocol could do nothing else but reverse the leading killer of men and women, shouldn't it be the default? Shouldn't it be the gold standard that we measure everything else against?
All right, so we know what the prescription is, but the big question is always how, right? How do you actually follow it in the real world? Well, Dr. Greger created an actionable daily protocol to turn all this life-saving science into a practical reality.
To bridge the huge gap between thousands of scientific papers and your daily decisions, he developed a simple tool. It's not about complex calorie counting or deprivation. No, it's about making sure you incorporate the most protective foods into your routine every single day.
The whole goal of the Daily Dozen is to make sure you're getting a wide array of powerful nutrients. We're talking about unique compounds found in specific foods, like the potent anti-cancer molecules in broccoli, or the hormone-balancing phytonutrients in flax seeds. It's a checklist for optimal health.
So here's a quick glimpse at the core checklist. Now, it might look like a lot at first, I get it, but it's designed for efficiency. You've got beans, fruits, vegetables, even exercises on there. And every single category is on this list for a very specific reason. It's backed by a mountain of evidence for its disease-fighting power.
And integrating it is way easier than you think. You don't need 12 separate meals. Just imagine a big salad. You start with spinach and arugula, add some chickpeas, bell peppers, walnuts, and a few berries. With that one dish, you've just checked off, 7 boxes right there? It's all about strategic combination.
So, what's the ultimate prognosis here? It's a radical shift in perspective, from being a passive patient to being the architect of your own health. This isn't just about avoiding an early death. It's about actively building a long and vibrant life.
This is the final empowering message. The science shows that our genes are not our destiny.
Our daily habits, especially our dietary choices, hold tremendous power to shape our biological future. You are in the driver's seat.
So, the crucial point is this. Every single time you eat, you're making a choice. It's an opportunity to either fuel disease or build a foundation of health. Food isn't just fuel, it's information that tells your body how to function. It is one of the most potent tools you have at your disposal.
And that brings us to the final question. This isn't just about what you'll have for dinner. It's about recognizing that your next plate is a prescription. It's a decision with real biological consequences. So the question is, what will you choose to write?